Flat tools generally called chisels. And so you've got a flat tool. When it's ground at 60 degrees or less, then it would be called a skew. Flat tool can be ground on one side, so you can just have the bevel on one side, it's flat on that side. This skew is ground on two sides, so the bevel is on both sides. All right, so that's your flat tool. Next one, V-tools. So can you see this little division here? So that V-tool can be broken down into lots of different categories. So we've got that V can vary anywhere from 90-degree angle. This one's a little bit less, the V's a little bit less, and this one down to even 35 degrees. So the angle of the V can change how much of a V there is. So there's variations there. That's your V tool. Next we have a gouge. See this gouge here? All right, so a gouge is it's a carving tool which is formed by different diameters of a circle. And that's from anywhere nearly flat to a full radius circle. So can you see this tool here is very nearly flat, but it's still got a curve on it, and this one has got a bit more of a curve to it. So they're called gouges. And then when that gouge is greater, the sides are greater than a semicircle, then that then becomes something called a fluter. So can you see here we've got a selection of fluters of different sizes. And when that fluter is smaller than 3 millimeters, it then becomes something called a veiner, that's our little veiner there. Okay, so that's your fluters. So we got flat tools, we've got V tools, so flat tools, flat or ground, which then becomes a skew. V tools anywhere from 90 degrees to 35 degrees the angle. Fluters when the sides are higher than a full semicircle. A gouge, and then this little fella here is called a macaroni. These are beautiful old tools. There's a whole story about how a carver gets his tools, but I was going to tidy these up, but then I thought, well, actually this tells a story in itself. A macaroni has a flat base and two little sides, so you can see that. The point is that there's hundreds of different variations of tools, but they're just not used very often. They're specialist tools, you don't use them very often. So when you're starting out carving, it's very difficult to know where do you start, which one do you get. So as a beginner, what we're really saying is you don't need all of this, but where do you start? And that's where this whole concept came in. I was asked to teach how to get a beginner to learn how to carve. And I thought, well, there's just this vast selection of tools. Let's just break it down to that 80-20 rule. We'll get the most commonly used profiles and start there. And then there is such an infinite amount of things that you can, of projects that you can do. But what we'll come to is actually, you've got to learn the technical side of things first and then worry about your projects later. So we came up with a series of step-by-step projects with the emphasis on getting your hand skills correct using a limited number of tools. So as a beginner, if you go to carvingbynumbers.com, click on projects, and depending on what tool you've got, these are the tools that we're promoting now. If you click on that, then you'll come up with a series of plans and projects, and you just simply match your tool to the profile that's on the chart. So for example, if I get this tool here, so here's your charts, you just simply match your profile and that just makes it easy. So if you've got your own tools at home, carvingbynumbers.com, download the project, it's all free. And if you've got your own tools, just match it to the chart. And then you haven't got to worry about anything. And then you know you can follow the course. If you don't have your own tools, got a selection of tools that you can get. And of course, Chad, you've got those in store.
Yeah, we have them all in store, both the sets, the smaller sets and the full set. Having had access to the carving by numbers stuff for a little while now, it does really help explain it to beginners. So being a beginner, I can attest to it really makes it kind of dumbed down for us that are starting fresh. So it's very helpful.
It just makes it simple because, so it's the 80-20 rule. You've got the 20% of tools that's going to do 80% of your jobs. There's a step-by-step course that's going to teach you how to use it. If you've got your own tools, you can match it to the profiles on the course, so you can use your own tools. And if you don't have your own tools, you can use ours. How about that? So that's the simple summary of that.